As of tomorrow, domestic air travel will be allowed under Level 3 regulations. Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula says aircraft will be allowed to carry their full capacity. We also hear that the rollout of the services will be done in 3 phases. The number of flights per day will also be restricted. Is this profitable for airlines that have been grounded for 2 months now? Domestic low-cost carrier FlySafair had said it was unlikely to resume flights under Level 3 regulations as it may be more costly. I'm joined now by the CEO of FlySafair, Elmar. Conradie. Elmar, good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time. So what position, final position, have you taken as FlySafair? Will you be operating under Level 3?
Thanks. Yes. Well, the new regulations were only published yesterday, so we could only, based on those regulations, make a decision now. And we are gearing up to start flying again. Our aim is to start middle of June, hopefully the 15th of June. But obviously, with the regulations only being published yesterday, we need to coordinate with a whole lot of people before we can start flying. We have to coordinate with the airport, with air traffic and navigation services. We have to apply for slots, get those slots approved, because there are still limitations put on the airlines under the regulations, where they said that, for example, the time of the flights will be limited to when port health authorities are available. So there's still some things that we need to sort out, but our plan is to start flying on the 15th with very limited flights.
How do you think? Yeah, how do you think as FlySafair you're going to be surviving that? Because you're still going to be operating with that limited capacity, and we now know you can't travel for leisure. So government says you only have to accept travelers that are traveling for business purposes, for work. That's going to be a little tricky because you can't really guarantee that you can have a full flight of people that are just traveling for work.
Yeah, so I mean, there's no doubt that we will continue to lose money. We estimate that there's only about 20% of the original capacity will be back in the market based on these rules that's put in place. So we will continue to lose money because we'll have 20% of our revenue, but we'll basically incur the same costs as before with the same overhead structure. However, we'll lose a little bit less money. Because we've got the 20% revenue, we'll lose a little bit less money. We're also at a point where we really would like to start operating because we can't face another month where our staff's sitting at home not earning salaries. So from that perspective, it's also we're willing to give it a try and see if it works. It's going to come down to economics. Basically, government has limited the supply in the market. So as long as there is some demand that can match that supply, we should be able to operate that flight profitably, but we'll still lose money overall.
And what's your assessment in terms of the business staying alive in the long run? And I'm asking that because there have been calls for some kind of funding from government specifically for the airlines. Yes, there's that tourism relief fund that's quite broadened and doesn't necessarily address and provide that support for airlines specifically. How important could that support be for the airlines should government be lobbied to make it available?
So we've taken a slightly different approach where we said we don't believe direct financial assistance is the way to go. We understand that everybody's going to ask for direct financial assistance if the airlines start asking for assistance. The difference, though, is that airlines pay a lot of government fees and taxes. About 20% of your ticket when you fly is government taxes and fees that go to the airports, air traffic and navigation control, all essential services that must be provided. But if government could subsidize or reduce those fees for a period, especially now when we know we're going to operate at a loss and we're going to, but we took the view we have to try and start operating. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation because I don't think the economy can get going if the airlines don't fly. And we can't make money if the economy doesn't get going. So we have to work together. We have to do our part to start the economy as well.
Let me ask you about, some of the processes that are underway with ComAir and SAA. We're seeing processes around business rescue and how those businesses can be rescued. How do you think that affects private competitors like yourselves as FlySafair?
Look, ComAir is also a private competitor. I think the business rescue, especially with ComAir, just shows you how serious the situation is for airlines. That's a company that's shown a profit for many years, unlike the state-owned entity comparison, SA, that you're giving. I think that positions are different. I don't have insight into the inner workings of why they decided to go for business rescue. But I can tell you that, at some stage, all of the airlines are going to run out of money. So the quicker we all start flying and start earning revenue, the better chance we've got of surviving.
All right. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Elmar Conradie is the CEO of FlySafair.